morning, everyone from New Zealand, and welcome to the Wildflow'ers vodcast. We have a very special guest today with us from the Netherlands, and of course, it goes without saying, we have the wonderful Michelle also coming in from Luxembourg. So we have two night owls and one morning lark.
Hello.
So it's great to have you here, and today with Marjanka here guiding us, we're going to go through the ebbs and flows of grief. And it's a beautiful story that's going to unfold here today, and a beautiful share with Marjanka being here. And I just want to start by saying how grateful I am to be sitting here today with you, or more than 30 years after we met in New Zealand. And it's probably an unlikely thing that links us, but I'd have to say it's the sport cricket.
It is. It is. Did you ever play? Did you ever play? No.
Not even me. So, Marjanka, it's about 30 years ago. Was that your first trip to New Zealand?
Yes, I think it was, when I turned 24 or so. Really young. I'm 52 right now, so that's a long time ago. And I've been to New Zealand for about 4 or 5 times. And
yeah.
It's always been on my bucket list, so I'll be there in a few years again.
And on that first trip, that would have been where you met my sister. Is that correct?
No, she visited the Netherlands first because she became our cricket coach at our cricket club. So that's where we met your sister. And then I think in a few years we came to New Zealand.
Okay. And so it wasn't the first trip that your future husband came with you?
No, because the first trip I was with Nienke.
Yeah.
My bestie. And then we stayed in your garage.
Sleep out.
Yeah. Sleep out, yeah.
If I put you in the garage there, it wouldn't have been so nice.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
More spiders.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Yeah. So it became a lovely start, really, like the whole cricket and trip to New Zealand. But then was it a second trip that you came with Maup?
Yes, the second trip I came with Maup, and then he played just around the corner from your place.
Mm-hmm. In Sydenham.
It's in Sydenham, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I played for St. Albans and for a few games and did a lot
Where
of.
I live now.
Yeah.
In St. Albans.
So, and we did some traveling together. Last few weeks we were there. Yeah, it was beautiful. Good memories.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about Maup, your love, and the impact that he's had on your life.
Well, that's a huge impact because we met at home, actually. His dad married my mother. They were both divorced, and that's where I met Maup. And in the first year, I thought, he's kind of a big boy. Didn't even notice him. And a year later, when I was 16 years old and Maup about 19 or 20, that's when we fell in love. And well, we've had a beautiful life together. Beautiful impact of Maup on my life. Whoa. Well, yeah, it's big. He's the one at parties that is talking to one person and has a really long, deep conversation, and I'm walking around, jumping around, dancing, and talking to everybody. And so the impact he had on me is, for example, I'm a coach right now, and he taught me how to be more quiet in when you ask questions, in connections with people, listen carefully and finding out what's really going on. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm.
And he's the father of our children, and then they are beautiful. Maup is beautiful, so the kids are beautiful as well. And 8 years ago, uh, last week, 8 years ago, uh, he died. He, unfortunately, of course, and that's been 8 years now. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's my
I feel,
soulmate.
yes.
Yeah,
I so feel that. And just to share with the audience also, while I was living for 4 years in the UK, I was so fortunate to, with my husband, to be part of Marjanka and Maupi's wedding. So another beautiful little linkage. So as you can appreciate, I have got to witness this love and share part of being part of their lives
yeah,
over the years, and now seeing these gorgeous men that have developed these lovely three boys of yours. So
yeah.
yeah, that's certainly a beautiful part of this. And yeah, grief, losing someone you love. I mean, that has been the catalyst for where you are now. Not that you would wish it in any way, shape, or form.
Oh no.
And um, it would be really lovely to just start to weave into this, Marjanka, any little parts of what you think are really key to share with others from what you have discovered with the loss in the last 8 years.
Hmm. Yeah, you call it the ebbs and flows. Did you say that? Ebbs and flows.
Yes.
Oh, that's suiting because it's never always there. It's coming and going. And that's where you have to get used to. You don't have any control over it. It's not really true, but it feels like in the beginning you don't have the feeling that you have any control over it. So it surprises you big time. And I always say it feels like a rugby tackle. You know, the really tough ones, the ones that get you flat on your face.
Mm.
And that process over and over and over and over and over again. It's a lot of times. Uh, and your first reaction is to fight and to stand up and fight back, and that's actually the not the really friendly manner for yourself to handle it, because it costs so much energy
Mhm.
that you're so tired when you got up again that you don't function that well. So in the years I learned to go with the flow more. When it hits me, it hits me. And I know I can get up now, by now. So then I got up again, and sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes only an hour. Being nice to yourself and compassionate. Uh, and that way it's easier to um, adjust to all the feelings that are surprising you.
Mhm.
That's in a nutshell.
Maranka, I'm not that good in Dutch. I flew over your website, which is completely in Dutch, but I could pick some different things out. You're a career advisor and
Mhm.
you're also a grief coach. How did you manage to put those two together? Was that the flow who takes you to take new opportunities as well for the business, get new ideas, and continue to go on?
Well, it's just a different balance now with clients, career coach clients, and grief coaching clients.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's combined, like because people change when they grieve, or people change when they lose somebody. And when you change, sometimes it doesn't fit anymore where you work,
Hmm.
and then the two are combined. And a lot of times, um, yeah, when you lose your job, it's a loss as well. And actually, the process where you go through is kind of the same sometimes. Maybe not as deep or not as painful, but you cannot compare the two anyway. So,
Hmm.
but the circle of transition is similar. You lose something, you mourn about it, and then you try to um, uh, how do you weave it
Hmm.
through your life,
Mm.
and then you search for the meaning of it, and
Yeah.
and that tells you something about what's the meaning of me in my life. What am I gonna do? And for me, it was really clear that with my experience of grief and losing my husband, I can help other widows, and you feel it immediately when we talk to each other, um, that I had the same experience. So that's so much easier in coaching if you had the experience yourself.
Hmm.
That works really well for the clients to feel safe and to feel heard, and to recognize and feel that I have been through it. So the advices I give them, or the challenges I give them, are suitable,
Hmm.
Mm.
trustworthy, and yeah,
Yeah, I think it's also by allowing those feelings that transition happens, because it never, you never change something in your life when everything is like going straight and fine, and it needs those ebbs and flows, as you said, those probably dark nights of the soul to get
yeah,
out again out of there, and build something new, to
yeah,
grow, to continue to grow.
yeah. And as I'm actually always emotional, I've become so much more emotional, and I show them in our connection in the coaching session that I am touched by it, or it moves me. Then it gives them permission to do the same, or to be vulnerable about things, and that's the way to get steps forward through their vulnerability, and accepting that it is like it is.
Mm. Yeah, it's not by giving advice, you have to do that and that next to go on, but it's um, by holding the safe space. And like our teacher Jamie always told us, the path of the holy banana. Because what happens to other
Yeah,
fruits when you put them next to the banana, they ripen, and
yeah,
it's the way that you listen, how you listen to people, and how you hold the space that people can also step out of themselves and evolve.
so true.
Mm.
It's so true. It's all about finding your secure basis.
Yeah.
Uh, who are your secure bases? Where are your secure bases? And get connected to them, because that's where you feel safe, and that's where you can try new things, and that's where you can find out who you really are,
Mhm.
or who you're turning into, or that's where you find your caring and your daring. So connecting to the right people around you in the right places is that's important. And that means often it means saying goodbye to people and losing more.
Mhm. And
You get a lot of
yeah.
losing presence added to the loss you already have.
Mhm. And I heard from Michelle that you are also taking people to that beautiful lake that you sent a photo for walks and talks.
Yeah,
Is that
walking.
also, yeah, is that also included in your work
Yeah,
as grief coach?
yeah. Because that place, it's called the well translated, it's called the Iron Man. And that place is a secure base for me. And being in nature is being outside is a secure base for me. And I same, yeah,
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
Yeah,
Forest is my home.
forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also love the sea and the wind and the rain, just being outside. And I want to get people connected to a secure base like that. And when you walk next to each other, it's sometimes more easy to talk and to tell what's happening inside.
Mhm.
It's sometimes more easy than the two eyes you meet at the other side of the table with all
Right.
the social knots. Mhm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for some people it's the sea, the lake. It's especially being out in nature, I believe. I don't have the lake or the sea around here. We have some other countries around. So if Holland wasn't there, we would have the sea as well. No,
Yeah,
I was joking. No,
takes
but
2 years,
the
another two
forest,
years.
yeah, the connection with nature, like it gives energy for a whole week, even more. If you
Yeah,
go out to nature once a week for 3 or 4 hours, like just not walking a marathon through the forest, but just like be in the forest and inspiring it with all your senses, touching, observing around, smelling, listening. That's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, and that's I always call it's for free. You scoop
Yeah,
it up for
absolutely.
free. And people who are mourning or coping with their loss are exhausted.
Hmm.
Exhausted. It's you can call it a 4 year burnout. They are exhausted.
Hmm.
So scooping up the free energy that's there is a very wise thing to do. You need to get energy out of something. And,
Like you say, it's all free.
Hmm.
yeah,
It's there.
that's
And I mean, yeah, nature is, I think, for most of us still fairly accessible, but sometimes we need to guide people to make it part of their weekly experience or daily experience. And sometimes people don't even, know what they don't know because they haven't been to a particular spot, um, and had someone even walk with them to go, oh, actually, I'd love to do this again.
Hmm.
That's that sort of thing. So yeah, such a key wellness anchor, or even just to say it's an anchor, um, for each and every one of us.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, most
And
of the
you
people lost that connection to nature, and they are not even aware of it. And including all the fear mongering around that the forest is dangerous with the wolves inside and the ticks and anything, it keeps people more away.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Mm.
Get out there,
And
people.
even better, if you've got something with 4 legs.
Yes, that helps a lot.
Mhm.
Helps a lot. So every morning I go for a walk, for half an hour walk, and sometimes I'm busy with the dogs, but I'm
Yeah.
busy with myself as well. The questions I have, talking to Maup, uh, out loud. Sometimes, oh, of course, I look around. Someone near me, someone walking.
It's a crazy lady talking with herself
Ah,
in the
there,
forest
yeah.
on the lake.
But it helps me. It helps me a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, you find answers in the nature. That's absolutely true. What you're saying. It's only just the question to get out there and connect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there are oh, just a minute. Yeah. There are really great exercises you can do, looking out of the looking over the lake. Most of the Not most of the time. Sometimes when the timing is right, it's time to um, feel the forest behind you, and you're looking over the lake. And there, I asked the question: if the past is over there behind you, and your future is over there, what would you put in there? What do you want to have in the lake if that's your future? And always they always have a plan or wishes for the future. And then I asked them to turn around and look in their past, and what would you like to to bring to your future from the past? And what do you have to leave behind? So it's really about letting go and getting connected to your future. That's
Mm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And when you're outside, it really anchors um, your answers, because you've got the picture, the feeling, and the exercise, and that works really well.
Mm.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I love that. Yeah. And Yankles, what other, we've talked about nature, we've talked about the ebbs and flows, perhaps animals, and this lovely exercise. Have you got another couple of support suggestions that you could share with the audience that, might be of great
Help.
help? Mm,
Yes, do. It's a really hard one, but as a I'm the widow, and people find it really hard. Well, it's 8 years ago now, and still they find it really hard to talk to me about Maup. And what I want is to hear his name every party or dinner I go to. I want to talk about him. I want to tell about him. I want to share my thoughts about him.
Mm.
And no one is talking about him. No one. And that
okay.
hurts so much.
Oh.
Oh, that hurts so much. So, as a widow or widower, or when you lose your brother, or you have to ask your friends to bring his name up and to
Yeah.
ask questions about him. And I've got only a few friends that really do that for me,
Yeah.
and it is my wish to have more of them.
Mhm.
But I have to educate them about my needs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Is that do you believe it's because of respect? People don't want to hurt you. It's still a taboo in our society to talk about death and loss and grief.
It's pretty
Is it
simple.
because people are afraid to hurt your feelings, or what do you think it is?
It's like you're at a T junction, you call it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's Marjanka, and she's got mourning and grief and pain all over her, always. So the brain, how do you call the reptile brain? Is that the
Yeah.
translation?
Yes.
Uh, well, the reptile brain doesn't want any pain at all.
Mm-hmm.
So the brain says go left, not talk about it, instead of go right and talk about what you see. I see Marjanka, the one, the widow. Let's ask questions. So it's really natural that they don't choose the pain question. Well, that's the reason. That's the reason. It still is. And you know, I've got a boyfriend right now, and people are so happy for me because it softens that spot.
Mm-hmm. No need to talk about death anymore. No, but I
Yes.
think it's
Correct.
it's so much more beautiful for keeping that memory up if you talk about. It doesn't mean to stay in the grief and in the sadness, in maybe also the anger, but it's also to keep the memory up.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's really that. Yeah, that would be really nice. Well, I talk about Maup to the boys, of course. Yeah.
And it's always beautiful. I think you take the lead because through Facebook you will share, an anniversary or a memory, etc. And it's all very well with Facebook to take the time to hit a button and do a thumb or a love heart,
Mm-hmm.
etc. But to really engage with a comment or some words is a different thing again, isn't it? And yeah. Well, it's pertinent that this week, then, on the 8-year anniversary, that we do get to talk about Maup and we give him energy and
Yeah.
we celebrate him with you. It's special, very special, and almost divine timing,
Yeah, it is.
I would say.
It is.
So another wee support that you could perhaps add, that was a really great one to share about. A lot of people won't even have a clue, will they? Even though you have to be the one that says, this is my need,
Yeah.
that most people just wouldn't have a clue.
No, because it's an unconscious process, that one. Unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard. Most of the time it's the people who know about losing someone who dare to talk about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's beautiful that you take the opportunity out of grief and loss to create new things in your life, like also the widows retreat where people can join you who also have lost someone dear in their life and connect with other people, share with other people. Can you tell us a little bit more about the widow
Yeah.
retreat? I think it's in Italy, right?
It's in Italy, that's right. And next year, in May and in September, I'm going there with a group of widows, like about 8.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a really nice hotel, and it's a beautiful village where we're staying. And we are very welcome, and the food is really good. And we can take a dip in the sea in the morning, and we can take a walk around the village, and the surroundings are beautiful, breathtaking. And even when it rains, the village shines.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. And we'll just be together and rest. Resting is a big part of the retreat, and I mean bringing your body and feeling your how tired you are or what your body needs to
Felt
uh
sense, yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and to get more energy and go back home again. And the hardest part is the for the widows with young kids to get away from home. How can you get away when you have 2 or 3 kids that you have to bring to school and to sports?
Mhm.
And that's the hardest part. So the challenge is, it's not a challenge, how do you call it? The daring part is to uh, ask your friends and your mom and dad or uncle or whoever, take care of my kids for from Monday to Friday, and I'm gonna rest and learn about grief.
Taking
Learn
time for
about
grief.
grief. Yeah,
Mm. Have you got enough facilitators?
I need someone for
I know a good
The breathwork
reflexologist.
session.
so nice.
Mm.
Yeah, that's so
And
nice.
that sounds amazing. What
Mm.
a wonderful thing to do. Are you going to do it pretty much on your own, or do you have somebody else with you?
Yeah, my boyfriend wants to help out, and he's really good in all the things around organization, the
Mhm.
bus and
Mhm.
getting from the airport and preparing the walk and dinner and oh, the food is mwah. So he will
Great.
do that part of the organization and I'll focus on the yeah
Mm.
on the
His
working part.
energy will be amazing, actually, now that you're sharing this, and I happen to have met him. Because I guess, yeah, they're all widows, so they've lost probably mostly all male component.
Mhm.
So his warm, calm, balancing energy will be really nice, I would imagine as well.
I think so too. I've
Mm,
really thought about it because it can be painful to see a man.
yeah.
I know.
Mhm.
Um, So I thought about it. Is that a wise thing to do, or shall I do it on my own? And on the other hand, and that's much more important, I guess, is it gives them perspective. It is possible to fall in love again. It is possible to build another life, a different a different love, and to explore that part. And that's a painful uh, process, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I want to give them that perspective. And when it
That's
hurts, yeah, it tells you something, tells you
Mhm.
something.
yeah. There's always a message behind as well. I was wondering, Marianka, if you talk about grief, if you post about grief or loss, did you hit any resistance, like people who don't want to hear of those things? Like before, we were talking about the taboo uh, theme, grief and loss. There are also people who probably don't want to talk about it or don't want to hear about it, not getting out of their comfort zone, and also being afraid to share the right words as well, because many people, they don't know how to react or how to speak any words to a person who is
Yeah,
grieving. Yeah.
that's hard. That's hard for them. And I can what I put on social media then, when it just happened, I said it's easier when you ask me how is your day today, instead of how are you? Because
Hmm.
how are you is like,
I don't like that question
"Ah,
anyway. No.
how are you? What do you
How are
think?
you? I'm fine. And you? I'm fine. Well, everything's okay. Let's go
Yeah.
on.
So,
No, it's everywhere. I mean, you get up for work in the morning. You work with people who you see more than your family during the day. Like, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. And you? Yeah, fine. Okay, let's move on. And behind there's a world crashing or anything. And I believe that if you open up and if you say, well, I'm not that fine today, and I have I'm moved by this and this in my life, I think there would be more intimacy happening between people, between teams and anything, if you allow yourself to talk about, to just open up and not having the belief that you are not allowed to speak out those things, to maybe hurt some other people who don't want to hear it or anything. It will be much more easy to just open up and say, yeah, no, I'm not fine today.
Yeah. Yeah. A hard question. How are you?
Mhm.
Mm.
Let's ask what moves you today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Marjanka, just a curious question about say resources come key people who you find can be quite helpful on the topic of grief. Um, I've found Francis Weller and a guy called Stephen Jenkinson quite people that have come across my path that talk a lot about grief. Have you got a couple of people or resources that you direct people towards?
Yeah, well, it's actually a mixture of a lot of people, but I've been to the School of Transition here in the Netherlands, and um, Jacob van Wielink, the one that's running the place, he's really inspired about grief, and he's connected to the grief, blah blah blah, in America, and he knows all about. So he brings that to the Netherlands, and I really work with the Circle of Transition that he developed together with a few people here. Yeah, I really work with it because it's really clear that it's sometimes it's more easy to how do you call it in English? To jump over a few steps because it's
Mhm.
less painful. And
Okay.
in coaching, it's really clear. I can really make it clear through the the
So is that
drawing.
a methodology?
Yeah,
Uh, okay, the circle of transition. I'm not aware of that, so that's something interesting to hear about. That
yeah.
would be
You
great.
know, you had maybe you know about Kubler-Ross.
Yeah,
That's
Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He's talking about the that one.
Hmm.
You know that you go down and then you climb up again, or you fall back down. And now it's more like a circle where you learn, and more like a spiral. You learn what you learn through grief. You bring in your life, and you weave it through your life,
Yeah.
and you're very conscious of did what how did it make you who you are today,
Hmm.
and that's how you continue. And the same for how did you react to grief when you were a kid, and how does it influence you along the way with other losses.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yes, a
once saw
lot.
that beautiful example with the tree. Uh, uh, your life, you can imagine your life like a tree. You have always the circle of nature, like you are born, you are growing, and then you go out of the crown, and the leaves are falling, which means you are dying, but you are not death, because you end up in the soil again, and a new tree comes out. And sometimes in your life, there are things happening where the trunk is cut raw, where something happens. You can imagine that, like, in on one side you have the circle, like being born, growing, and leaves falling and everything, a never-ending circle. And on the other side you have all the things that happens to you, like education, school, job, marriage, everything, your home and everything. And once in your lifetime, the trunk is cut raw, you fall back into your inner space.
Mhm.
And that's where you realized that the circle is still there. Even everybody goes that other way. Children go to school, go to university and everything, but it's a difference that if you go unaware or aware, like knowing that you can every time get back to your inner space and find back to that circle of life again. That's I think that's the most important to know.
It's nice.
Mm.
Mm.
That's beautiful. Because
Right.
that's the process, finding out who you are
Yeah.
again. And that's what you do with yourself, connected to other people,
Mm.
with a smaller group, and very conscious about who you are becoming.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
A
it's a
great
slow process as well.
It is, but it
Mm.
takes the time it takes. I mean, for some people it goes quicker, for other people they take longer. There's never a recipe that it should be like that or it should be like that. It's just like important to stay with the flow and like feel those feelings and go on, move on with them. And yeah, Marjanka, that's so much inspiration today from you. Thank you so very much for sharing this inspirations. And we are going to link, of course, your website down below. It's in Dutch, but there are always chances to translate anywhere. So also the retreat, which is going to happen next year, I believe in Italy.
Yeah.
You letting us know when this is
I will.
starting. Yeah. So thank you so much for now. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe and share.
And comment.
And comment for the algorithm. Yes. Leave a comment for the algorithm. Yeah. Thank you so much for having you. It was really nice.
And just final word, I just want to acknowledge Maup and thank you also, Yankel, so much for connecting today. Really, really blessed to be able to do this with you after such a long friendship.
Yeah. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.